Hey guys, welcome back to another video. In today's video, we're looking at what if Russia annexed borders. It borders 14 countries. So this will be very interesting. So let's get started. So obviously they do border Finland. They border Norway just by a bit. So just now, they have a lot of territory. So have Kaliningrad, and so that makes them border Lithuania and Poland. Ukraine and Belarus, Estonia. Like, there's a lot of nations they border. Like, this is just the current day Russian borders. Annexing the borders they have with other countries. Yes, China is here. Just by a bit, so. Oh boy. Cannot wait for this. And yes, Russia does border the United States. Via, exclusive economic zone. Well, technically, when the Bering Strait freezes, they technically do border each other. So yes, the United States wouldn't exist if Russia was to annex all their borders. Like, well, I guess, hold on. Does Russia border the U.S.? They don't share a land border, but they do share a maritime border. So, yeah. I guess they would annex them because of their maritime border. But with that logic, they would also annex Japan. So, we'll leave the U.S. out of this. Pretty sure Tanatuva is around here. Which I'm pretty sure was an independent nation. And also North Korea is gone too, so goodbye, bud. So instantly Russia becomes way larger than it originally was. In the original timeline. And obviously there would be a lot of wars. So this is now our current Russia. Oh boy, do they look like the Soviet Union already. With a lot more territory. So now they border Sweden, Germany, the Czechs and the Slovaks, the Hungarians, the Romanians, the Moldovans, the Turks, the Armenians, the Iranians. These guys over here. Also India and Pakistan. They border Nepal and Bhutan, Myanmar, Laos and Cambodia, Laos and Vietnam, South Korea. Yeah, this could be interesting. So we see Russia beginning to invade post-Soviet nations and all. So those nations include Moldova, Armenia, and the rest of Central Asia. Here we go. So first things first, Russia will easily take over all Moldova. Also going into Sweden, too, because this looks very weird. And yeah, and now they enter into Armenia. They enter into Uzbekistan now. And into Tajikistan and Kyrgyzstan. And into Turkmenistan. So yeah, the Russians are doing pretty good right now for this video. And yeah, we can take a look at this peace treaty. And obviously in this peace treaty we see full annexation of the countries, including all post-Soviet states and Sweden. Yeah, this is weird. Already, Russia would surpass the US in military because they have a lot more. And now they are going to look to expand into countries that they had trouble invading in the past. Specifically Afghanistan. Which Russian troops enter into Afghanistan from the north. Which at first they succeed, managing to capture a large portion of Afghanistan. But as we all know, you don't mess with Afghanistan because they will be able to push you back. And making you lose a lot of your troops. And yeah, Russia figures this out and will stop invading for now, but we all know they're gonna pour a lot of money into this. But first, they're gonna go. So they stop invading Afghanistan, they give them a peace treaty, and they still want to expand. There are some posts like Warsaw Pact members. So the Czech Republic and Slovakia, Hungary, Romania, Bulgaria, and even Albania were even a part of them. But Germany was split, so East Germany was a part of it, part of the Eastern Bloc. Which, this is gonna go surprisingly well for the Russians, who enter into Romania and Bulgaria with relative ease, cutting them off from the Black Sea. And they managed to reclaim these post-Warsaw Pact members. And eventually they go after Greece. They enter into Albania and all Yugoslav member state countries. They enter into Austria and Liechtenstein. They enter into Hungary, the Hungarians, and into the Czechs and Slovaks. And we can go ahead and look at our this next peace treaty. And in this peace treaty, we see full annexation of every country, which is not good. You don't want to get fully annexed. So yeah, all these borders, say goodbye to them because they're not real. Let's be honest, would this actually happen in real life? No. Russia is almost has all of Europe and almost all of Asia. Oh, it looks like they re-elected elected a Soviet leader. So they technically have Turkey completely surrounded. They border them a lot. Even their navy is pushing up against the coast. So, and in the next few weeks, we see Russian tanks entering into Turkish lands. And Russian troops enter into Istanbul and take the city, and capturing areas along the coast. Cyprus, seeing this as an advantage to take some land from Turkey, will start invading into Turkey, but we all know Russia's not going to let them take the land. They'll probably just end up getting invaded afterwards. And eventually Ankara is captured and we can finally see the Turks capitulate. We can go ahead and look at the peace treaty, where we actually see the borders changing a bit. Cyprus will be allowed to take this for now, because the Russians might come after them next. Oh my god. Okay, we're gonna have to fix this up. First off, let's just get all the countries that they just invaded. I'm sorry about that. Can't believe I messed up. There we go, there's all of this done with. Now we can finally get these together. There we go. So now that Russia has a lot more land, Cyprus is good for now. They're not focused on them right now. They're focused somewhere. Oh, wait. Hold on. Can't forget this. There we go. Like I was saying, Russia's not going to be focused on Cyprus. They're more focused on the rest of Europe. So we see countries falling to the Russians, such as Denmark falling to the Russians. Even the Italian peninsula is falling over to the Russians. The Vatican and San Marino are no longer here. They are now part of Russia. Even the Swiss fall over to the Russians. The Germans now fall over to the Russians. Just Western Europe is remaining. And they form a new NATO just aimed at stopping Russian expansion into Europe. Let's take a look at this peace treaty. So we see a majority of Europe falling over to Russia, and an alliance is aimed at stopping Russia from expanding more into Europe. What is the alliance called? Well, it's NATO, of course, but it's a different NATO. Any countries are allowed to join if they fear Russia. Who are the founding members of this alliance? Well, obviously, we have the US and Canada. The UK also took over Denmark before Russia got all of Denmark, before Russia could get there. Speaking of the UK, they are a founding member. So is Andorra, Spain, and Portugal. And France. Other nations that joined were Iceland, Ireland, and all of the Benelux nations. Those are the original members. We also see Mexico joining this alliance. Even countries like the Bahamas and Hispaniola joined the alliance. But for now, we see Russia cannot go anywhere else here. They cannot go this way. Cyprus has not yet joined this alliance, but they're chilling for now. Or are they? Because they just got invaded and annexed. Yeah, that was short-lived. And now we see countries starting to see some more countries some countries are are succumbing to Russia. Countries like Syria, Lebanon, Iraq, Myanmar. Yeah, this is crazy. And in one fell swoop, we see NATO, the new NATO, uniting under one country to stop Russia once and for all and try to free the world from them. But for now, they're still not strong enough. So yeah, this is very bad. Not good news for Russia, but new alliances are starting to form up. There's also an alliance between Israel and Palestine, which they unite together, with Jordan soon joining. Even Egypt and Saudi Arabia begin to join them as well. Kuwait joins this alliance. Qatar and Bahrain join. Soon after, all of the Arabian Peninsula gets turned over to an alliance, a new alliance aimed at stopping Russian expansion down the south into Arabia. All of these Southeast Asian countries will join an alliance, make an alliance, and unite together. Because Russia is now on their border. Bangladesh decides to unite with India. Because they're scared, of course. Will Russia stop expanding? Will they fall? Who knows? Speaking of Russia, they see this alliance popped up, and even this one right here. They are not afraid of anyone right now. They should be afraid of these guys over here, because they're... Oh wait, I forgot to... Oh, never mind, I didn't. But, Russia will not stand by idly. Since they will be invading this, alliance union of Arabia. United Arabia. Going along this area, taking over this portion, just going along the bordering area, even capturing Socotra from them before. And yeah, it's not looking too good for this alliance slash union, because they get cut into two, with Egypt soon falling suit. Egypt falling to Russia. This is an interesting video. This might be turned into a series. To like a multi-part episode. A multi-part video. But yeah, now Arabia is getting invaded fully by the Russians. And yeah, it's not looking too good because they are very weak now. And after a few days of battling, this union will be completely folded over. And now I can look at a peace treaty in which there's just, well, full annexation of the country, of the countries. So yeah, Russia is now in Africa. Never thought I would say that. Seeing this, alliances are beginning to grow. Specifically, countries who hate the US are starting to shift towards their side, fearing that Russia, after they get a lot of land and ocean access, they would come after them next to integrate them into their country. So countries like Cuba and Venezuela join the NATO. United NATO Front. Yeah, that's what I'm going to call it, the country. And so we see Russia not being able to recruit more members into their country. What we do see, though, is, yeah, this union that happened, yeah, this didn't work out as it was planned to. Turns out, there was civil unrest in this, so, yeah, and now with no union stopping them, Russia begins to massively send troops into this region. Now, Russia knows about Vietnam, so they will go past around the jungles of Vietnam, of this area. And they get special troops who are designed to fight in guerrilla warfare over here, and eventually they get conquered. But there's still gonna be some guerrilla warfare, like over here and over here, even right here. But yeah, just like I said, the troops that were coming are way more advanced, know how to fight the guerrilla warfare, and eventually, all of this area becomes a part of Russia. And so, Russia is beginning to expand. Lots. They kind of have a lot of this countries like completely surrounded. Like they have the Indian Ocean like surrounded here. So they're gonna try their luck with Iran, and they're gonna manage to completely invade them from both sides. Even managing to go straight down and manage to completely annihilate all of this area. And they eventually will conquer all of Iran. but not so fast because they are still hungry for more land. So they invade Pakistan. I don't like where this is going. With this new front, they send troops all into Afghanistan. Who, with this amount of troops entering their country, they will not be able to defend themselves and will eventually get conquered, finally by the Russians. And we can look at this peace treaty. And obviously, in the peace treaty, we do see full annexation of all the countries. So, yeah. Seeing those countries begin to form a united front against the Russians. Countries are uniting with a big country. With this united NATO front, expands all the way into Central America. Countries are getting in this union too. And it reaches the border of South America, where Colombia also joins. Finally getting up with Venezuela, who Venezuela and Cuba know that they don't like each other in real life. But because Russia is expanding so much, they know it's for a good cause. Even nations over here begin to form a union that also unites with this one over here. So we see a lot of African nations who don't really like each other uniting under one banner. Now Russia was watching this. Really is watching this, and they're scared of this. They do not know what to do, because the whole world might unite against them, which is actually what is happening. In the next part, we'll obviously see a war break out. All of Africa is uniting under one banner, except for, well, Sudan, Egypt. Because they were obviously a part of a union who got invaded by Russia previously. And yeah, this is also a part of this union that's right there. So this union also grows even further, getting all of the Guyanas. Even Ecuador and Peru will also join. Even Australia, these island nations begin to join this union. The island of Papua is unified once again. And a lot of countries that border Russia now are fearing for their lives, which they unite together. Even the Maldives and Sri Lanka unite with India, who also unites with Bhutan and Nepal, which is now also a part of this. Which is also a part of this. I'll catch you later in a second. Alright, I'm back. Alright, I'm back. So as you can see, all of Africa is unified with the entire world now, except for Russia. Almost all of South America is under one. Even Antarctica joined. And finally, after so many years, Brazil joins up with this union. Giant coalition union. Which will probably be the largest thing in the world, considering it has a lot of nations. I'll see you in the next part. Bye-bye.